Well, I guess I'll go get my coffee.
it's harder now. Helps me to find some things that will lead me away from doubt. A conscious choice to try and find a calmer voice, remembering a softer place, like the smile on my mama's face. I still believe in the middle of my darkest days. I promise myself not to lose my way, at least not for long. That's why I sat down to write this song. It's a conscious choice to try and find my higher voice. And I won't look away from all the trouble in the world today. What makes my heart sink? Mostly it's just the weight of the darker things that I think. So it's a conscious choice to try and find my loving voice and stay in the softest place, for there lies a saving grace. I still believe, even if it's harder now. Even if it's harder now.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. Oh, for each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage.
Good morning. We are one. We are one in the spirit. We're one in truth. And we're one right here in this gathering. And I want to thank you for being part of it this morning. You found your way again to All Souls Unitarian Universalist Church in Shreveport. And we're very glad you are here. This is a congregation built on covenant rather than creed. We come together around our mutual promise for how we will relate with one another and try to be in the world rather than about how we believe. This makes the dynamics of a group more challenging, and they're also the very things that help us grow into being the people who can best serve the needs of conversation across division. These are the things we try to grow in here. It is our challenge. It is our covenant. But whoever you are, whatever your age, race, origin, orientation, background, status, ability, identity. If you care to be here with us in mutually respectful environment, we welcome you and would love to hear more of your story along the way. Happy spring. It's coming in spite of the snow. It's surrounding us, and I hope you have opportunities to catch glimpses of it as we go. I want to invite our board secretary, Kathy Osuch, to share with us now.
Am I on? I don't know. Okay, good. Okay, good morning. I'm Kathy Osuch. Some of the things that are coming up is our Easter service will be April 4th. Buildings and grounds will be from 9 to 1 on April 10th. So come as much as you can and help us maintain our church. On April 12th, Together Louisiana will have a virtual meeting and to discuss issues. Susan Caldwell may have more to say about it either today or via email when it gets a little closer to the date. Let me see. Okay. We continue to have our Zoom lunches on Wednesdays at 12. Susan Caldwell sends an email link to invite you to that. Highland Blessing dinner continues to have a takeout meal available for anyone who wants to come to their to the church, the Highland Center, from 4 to 6. It's like I said, it's a takeout meal, and so you're welcome to come and get one. But they also need volunteers to help pack the bags and assemble the meals. Okay, today there will be greens on the red at Noah Methodist from 2 to 4 this afternoon. Larry Andrews will explain a little bit more about it, but there will be goats. And upcoming this summer, our annual summer camp at the Point is going to be July 23rd to 25th. Because it's virtual, it's going to be more accessible to many people. The cost is $20 to attend. So you might want to take advantage of that if you haven't been able to participate in the past. Thank you, I'm done.
Thank you so much, Kathy. I'm Susan Caldwell, and I'm the Religious Education Director at All Souls, and we are so happy that all of you are here with us. And yes, Together Louisiana is having a large assembly on April the 12th at 6 p.m. That is the first day of the legislature. And so we will be kicking off a House District organizing project that we'll be talking more about in the time between now and then. And we do have a rapid response group that meets on Monday mornings at 8:30, which may not be the best time for everybody, especially if you are working a 9-to-5 job. But if you're interested in being a part of that and you aren't already on that mailing list, please let me know. Let me know in the comments, or you can message me, email me, call me, text me. You can get in touch with me all kinds of ways. We will have family religious education today at 1:00 p.m. And I found a wonderful book. It's called Not My Idea, a book about whiteness by Anastasia Higginbotham, in line with our the work that we're doing on the 8th principle. It is it's a wonderful look at this issue, at the issue of institutional racism, geared to children. It's very frank, it's very open, and yet it's very appropriate, age appropriate. So I've been really kind of jazzed to find that book. That's at 1 o'clock today, and the link will be on Slack and in the on the Religious Education Facebook group. We don't share the children and youth event links publicly. There was something else. Highland Center Ministries. Kathy already mentioned that they are doing the dinner on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6. They are also trying to stand up a pop-up vaccination clinic at the dinner, and as such are looking for physicians, nurses, people licensed and qualified to give vaccines to be a part of that, so that they can hopefully serve as many people as possible as they come to the dinner. That may happen if all the stars are in alignment, and as early as this Thursday, or it may be a little bit out from there, a little bit later. If you are one of those people, please put it in the comments, or get in touch by all of the means I've already mentioned. Get in touch with me, get in touch with Barbara, or message Highland Center Ministries here on Facebook. However you can reach out, please do. If you would be available on a Thursday afternoon between 4 and 6, let us know. And I want to pass it over to Larry very quickly to tell us a little bit more about Greens on the Red this afternoon. So Larry, take it away.
Thank you, and good morning. Today is the annual Greens on the Red celebration from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock today. It's at the Highland Community Garden, which is across from Knoll Methodist Church, 520 Herndon Street. And it has 3 greens that are being highlighted today: collards, cabbage, and microgreens. Along with those greens, we're going to have hula hoops and recipes, health screenings, gumbo that you can try, music and garden yoga, and some actual adorable goats that you can interact with and pet. So bring a mask and have fun, safe, wonderful, good times. That's it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Larry. I hope y'all can come out for that this afternoon. That would be great. I'm probably going to head out that way after religious education, so maybe I'll see you. I think that is all that I have today, and I will pass it back to Reverend Barbara.
We wanted to also let you know that giveaway the plate this month is for Hope House, right? And contributions can be made through the church website and also by mailing in checks. There are ways that you can indicate that the contribution is for the plate, and it is that plate contribution rather than your pledge that will be sent to Hope House. And we try to do these things each month. They are our recipient this month. So please contribute to them. They do a lot to serve people who are in all sorts of transitions, like homeless or food insecure, and serve that community a lot of other ways as well. Did we mention that Wealthia Jackson is our volunteer of the month? She has been doing a lot for us lately. She works for us at the Highland Center regularly. She's did a worship service just in the last couple of weeks. She's helping Susan with a number of things, and we want to thank Wealthia for her help. And we are honoring her as our volunteer of the month. Also, I wanted to let you know that the Easter service is going to be virtual. We thought hard about trying to have one outside, but we have still been told group things are discouraged. And we try to be mindful of the most vulnerable and not cater to those who might have privilege or access that the most vulnerable and others don't have. Anyway, so, and we're waiting for the UUA to indicate that they think we should be able to open back up, and we're listening to Dr. Fauci. So there are a number of things in play, and we will be bringing things to you so you can participate in the spring holiday service next Saturday or Friday night begins Passover. Ramadan starts very soon. This is a holiday-rich season, along with our celebration of the return of the light and spring. And we'll try to lift some of that up a little bit next week, I think. All right, so let us enter a spirit of worship. Take a couple of deep breaths. And it's time we center and begin our thoughts and our hearts on what we consider matters of worth. Come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. I'm going to do it again, and I'm going to encourage you to sing right where you are. Get used to this again. And if you don't want to sing, say the words. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are. Do you hear the voice calling you, calling us? That voice which calls us together here today in this gathering, made holy by our presence and by the sacred breath we share even through space, in our singing and speaking and our silence. That voice which calls us to remember that we are not alone and that we are inextricably linked to all other life, woven into a vast tapestry of existence of which we are a powerful, integral, and holy part. Welcome, spring. We honor your awakening, the balance at this equinox. We honor the warm breezes, the waxing light. We welcome new life and the promise of possibility. May we here be reminded of love that brings life, the awesome power that moves this perpetual cycling of time. May we remember beauty as we open our eyes and hearts and spirits to the newly unfolding season and this hour of shared community. This morning we have Jackson Peck, I believe, leading our chalice lighting.
Hi, my name is Jackson. We light this chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the helping hands. This is the church of the loving heart. Hi.
Thank you so much, Jackson. I imagine it's hard to see the flame against that window. The lighting is a challenge in here with all our windows, but aren't they beautiful when we can see the spring through them? We try to make this service as real time with you as we can. And I hope, you will feel our shared hearts with your presence and participate where you can, okay? We have several other chalice lightings this morning. The first one is from Jamie Yandel. We light this flame to ignite the sacred power of justice. We light this flame so that it may be a beacon of hope in moments of uncertainty, fear, anxiety, and the unknown. We light this flame and are emboldened by its blaze, knowing our strength as a prophetic and powerful people is rooted in the diverse ways we answer the call to love. And this is from Maureen Killeran. Love is the aspiration, the spirit that moves and inspires this faith we share. Rightly understood, love can nurture our spirits and transform the world. May the flame of this chalice honor and embody the power and the blessing of love we need, the love we give, the love we are challenged always to remember and to share. I would ask our Director of Religious Education to join me in the next reading from Charles F. Flagg. Every endeavor begins with a first step and encounters darkness and difficulty along the way.
We know the darkness of ignorance, of fear, and of tyranny.
Yet we know the dawning of light, the beginnings of hope, and the renewal of life.
Blessed be the eternal power which inspires us to kindle this light. Blessed be the source of light and of life. Amen.
Thank you, Miss Susan. As we come to the unison affirmation, I want to invite you again, please, to participate. Say the words. Remember the feeling of being part of our community. And I would ask again our board secretary, Kathy Osuch, to lead us, please.
Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the sacred. Thus do we covenant with each other.
Thank you, Kathy. Our hymn is Love Will Guide Us. Many of you know it. I invite you to sing it, please. I'm sorry that you can't hear more voices than mine, but I hope you'll sing along with me. tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. First verse, love will guide us. Peace has tried us. Hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
Good morning again. Today, Reverend Barbara is talking about the power of love. And I have found this wonderful story about how the power of love can move the power of one. And so I'd like to share that with you. The book is called I Am One. It's by Susan Verde, with art by Peter Reynolds, which some of you may remember the book Say Something that we read not long ago by Peter Reynolds. I Am One, a book of action. It's dedicated to everyone because you make a difference. And the illustrator has dedicated it to Greta Thunberg, who showed the world the power of one young person. How do I make a difference? It seems like a tall order for one so small. Smudge is here. She just entered her comment. But beautiful things start with just one. One seed to start a garden. One stroke to start a masterpiece. One note to start a melody. One step to start a journey. One brick to start breaking down walls. And I can speak one gentle word to start a conversation. I can use my one soft voice to start a friendship. I can perform one act of kindness to start a connection. I can share one tender hug to start caring. And we'll be able to hug soon those that we haven't been able to hug through this. So it's good to remember. We want to remember how. I can light one candle, start leading the way. I can make one drop in the water, start ripples that become swells and then waves. Traveling over oceans, across borders and boundaries, landing on distant shores, start a chain reaction to inspire a movement, to make a change. I am one, and I can take action. We are each one, and we can take action. One by one, we can make a difference. Because one is all it takes to start something beautiful. So I hope that every one of you can remember that and do what you can do. The power of love can help you do that. Thanks.
Good morning. For today's meditation, let yourself find a comfortable position, your body balanced, spine straight. Begin with a deep and comfortable breath, shifting your attention to your heart space. And imagine breathing in and out of your heart. Allow your breath to deepen and slow. Allow your breath to be soft and kind. As you relax and deepen into this moment's presence, reflect. Today, upon my journey, I encountered choices that may not be as they appear, challenges between ways of being and directions to go that seem completely opposite, each way excluding the other. And yet to choose either one brings deep loss to the wholeness of my soul. On the one hand, I see the strength and transforming energy of power. And on the other, I see the healing intimacy of love. Yet to choose only power leaves me empty and brittle. And to choose only love leaves me without the strength to craft a change in a world that suffers. Which to choose, which way to go? I see the choice for risk with its promise of wild adventure, and the choice for safety with its grounded certainty. Yet to choose only risk leaves me frantic, and to choose only safety leaves me dull and unfulfilled. Which way to go? I see the choice for freedom with its promise of playful celebration, and the choice for responsibility with its deep and life-giving roots of meaning and purpose. Which one to choose? I see the choice for trust with its open door to beloved community. And I see the choice for being closed with its hard-won lessons of loss and pain. Which way now? And now again, I find the same seeming impossible choice between holding on and letting go, between active and passive, between reality and dream, between reason and feeling, night and day, life and death. And with every choice, a loss, some fragment of the human spirit left behind. Let my first choice be to go to that sacred place that is neither inside nor outside, not above or below, that sacred center that is everywhere and nowhere, that sacred presence that is who I am. Let a new knowing be born here, a knowing beyond all opposites, a knowing that embraces a field of infinite possibility. These choices I have encountered are not true choices, nor are they problems for me to solve. They are invitations to join a dance as eternal as the movement of sun and moon, a dance as enduring as the flow of season into season. Summer and winter are not at war. They are interdependent steps in the dance that brings us the beauty of flowers and the nourishment of harvest. Power gives strength to the voice of love, and love forever calls power to remember the healing and wholeness of the heart. With all my heart and all my strength, let me join the dance. In this sacred moment, I center in my breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. The rhythm of the great mystery, the beautiful dance of creation. Breathing in, I receive. Breathing out, I give.
Thank you, Larry. I invite Ms. Susan to, again, join me in a reading. This one from Judy Chicago. It's a responsive reading, and if you will, please do it with us. Ms. Susan will be leading the congregational part. And then all that has divided us will merge.
And then compassion will be wedded to power.
And then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind.
And then all genders will be gentle.
And then all genders will be strong.
And then no person will be subject to another's will.
And then all will be rich and free and varied.
And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many.
And then all will share equally in the earth's abundance.
And then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old.
And then all will nourish the young.
And then all will cherish life's creatures.
And then all will live in harmony with each other and the earth.
And then everywhere will be called Eden once again.
There was a movie that came out in 1985. I think it's a classic at this point. It was called Breakfast Club. In Breakfast Club, there was a character who was a bit of a loner, kind of an outcast, in a family system would have been the lost child or a recluse. And at one point in the movie, she says, when you grow up, your heart dies. Yesterday, I was walking around and I began to notice more abundantly the things that spring was doing, displacing all of the brown, all of the damage that the ice storm had done. And I felt inside of me something begin to wake up. There was a release. And at the same time, I became aware of how numb I must have been before that. We long for that vitality of spring. We long for the clarity that comes with that opening, that vulnerability, maybe that in loveness. But all of that was just kind of an indication of where I had been before that, and it makes me want to be more mindful of what's going on inside me as I'm walking through the world. Most of you, I'm sure, will be familiar with a quote from Dr. King that says, "Power without love is reckless and abusive. And love without power is sentimental and anemic." Power at its best is love implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is power correcting everything that stands against love. As we move through the ideas of love and power this morning, I want to invite you to let your mind visit notions of your own power. What do you have control of in your life? What power do you have that someone else doesn't have or enjoy? In many ways, in areas right now, we're being called to be mindful where power exists, mindful of the power we have, and mindfully creative in how we might help shift the balances of power toward more equitable distribution. So again, what do you have control over in your life? Power over in your life, in your world? What power do you have? Maybe it's talents, maybe it's capacities, maybe it's perceptions. What do you have that someone else does not enjoy? There was a German-American philosopher, theologian named Paul Tillich. Tillich was widely recognized as one of the most influential theologians of the 20th century. His research into the relationship between religion and existence relates the significance of existentialism to Christian theology, but Dr. King was among those heavily influenced by his work. Reviewing Paul Tillich's 1954 book, Love, Power, and Justice, the extended name is Ontological Analysis and Ethical Applications. But in reviewing that book, W.G. Dalton explains that Tillich frames love in the polarity of estrangement and reunion. Tillich said, language has created the word loneliness to express the pain of being alone, and has created the word solitude to express the glory of being alone. Human being is always being under the condition of existence. As such, it's being experienced as estrangement from other beings. Love, then, is the drive towards the unity of the separated. Love constantly moves towards reunion, and in this way finds itself united with the compulsory elements of power in order to destroy what is against love. In North Louisiana, over the years, we've been given the definition of power as the ability to act, the capacity to act. Interfaith is affiliated with a larger organization, much larger organization called the Industrial Areas Foundation. And in that organization, they offer a little bit more extended definition of power as the capacity, ability, and willingness to act. Paul Tillich wrote that power is a potentiality that exists or is actualized only in a being's encounter with the other. Every actual manifestation of power, Tillich says, possesses some form of compulsion. He goes on to explain how and why force and compulsion are necessary actualizations of power. One of the more striking features of this analysis is his characterization of the self as a power structure. That is, the use of force and compulsion over the forces, both internal and external, that shape the self in a way that controls this process, and hence self-control. I'm using Dalton's review here a lot, but I guess in that case, the self is the other. Kind of strange to think about that way, but if we're trying to control self, and self is, power is about where we meet the other and about compulsory elements, then self-control says that we are meeting ourselves to make that possible. Anyway, Tillich also writes, justice is the form in which the power of being actualizes itself under the principle of love. It's grounded in the essential claim of all beings as opposed to things. Justice is violated when this intrinsic claim of actualizing your beingness is disregarded. When an other's power of being is rejected. Tillich states that justice preserves what love unites. Justice is the form in which and through which love performs its work. All of that, I think, resonates with Dr. King's quote. Now, you know I'm prone to quote Richard Rohr, and this is what he had to say about it. Justice without love is legalism. Faith without love is ideology. Hope without love is self-centeredness. Forgiveness without love is self-abasement. Fortitude without love is recklessness. Generosity without love is extravagance. Care without love is mere duty. Fidelity without love is servitude. Every virtue is an expression of love, but no virtue is really a virtue unless it is permeated or informed by love. So now, if we're talking about love and we're talking about power, we have to talk about balance. When we talk about empowerment, we're talking about having the choice or the privilege to let go of power. so that someone else can experience that. There are ways we all keep our power and we all keep our love, but allowing means that we're not trying to control. And if there's some sort of equation between control and compulsion and power, then letting that power be, rather than trying to make it something, allowing it, is where I think the love and the power come into balance. In recovery communities, there's a regular acknowledgement of the things we can't control, like what other people think of us. You may be familiar with the adage, if you want to make God laugh, tell God your plans. This old Jewish proverb is especially familiar to people in recovery from addiction, but everyone can glean some meaning from time-tested words like that. They serve as a gentle reminder that most of what happens in our life and in our lives and in the lives of others is beyond our control. Yes, a great deal is beyond our control. We can't make spring come. We can't make the snow thaw any faster. Yes, we can, but we can't make it snow. Exactly. We do well to be mindful of what power we do have and what we do with that. Remembering the words of Mother Teresa that there are no great acts, only small acts done with great love. I think great love unleashes power that we can't imagine and certainly can't control. Allowing our attention to notice how much love we are allowing into the moment and how much love we are bringing to choice is power, choice is privilege, choice can be open. On the website, tinybuddha.com, I found a list of 50 things that you can control right now. And Miss Susan's book this morning did a good job of naming a lot of those. I'm sure different ones in this list will respond or will resonate with different people, but I'm going to shoot through it real quickly. You can control how many times you smile today, your level of honesty, how well you prepare mentally or physically for what's yours to do, how you act on your feelings, how often you say thank you, even if it's to the universe. When you pull out your wallet for luxuries, whether or not you give someone the benefit of the doubt, how you interpret situations, whether or not you compete with other people around you, how often you notice and appreciate small acts of kindness, whether you listen or wait to talk. Tillich also said, listening is the greatest act of love. When you walk away from a conversation, how nice you are to yourself in your own head, whether you dwell on negative thoughts or let them go, whether or not you form expectations of people, whether you eat healthy or unhealthy food, how you respond to someone's questions or email or call, how much time you spend worrying, whether you try new things or do what you've always done, how often you move your body, if you have the privilege of being mobile, how many times you swear in traffic if you are fortunate enough to own a car, whether or not you plan for the weather, how much time you spend trying to convince people you're right, how often you think about your past, how many negative articles you read, the attention you give to loved ones when you encounter them, or maybe even in their absence, how much you enjoy the things you have right now, whether or not you communicate something that's on your mind, how much physical stuff you accumulate, what books you read, whether you honor your intrinsic nature or not, how deeply you breathe when you experience truth, how many times you admit you don't know something and then learn something new, how often you use your influence to help people instead of focusing on building your influence, when you ask for help, which commitments you keep or cancel, or if you have to cancel many for health reasons, how kind you are to yourself when you do it, how many risks you take, how creative, innovative you are in your thinking, how clear you are when you explain your thoughts, whether you formulate a new plan or act on your existing one, how much information you get before you make a decision, how much information you share with people, whether you smoke, drink, unless that's an addictive process in your life, and then certainly control becomes less a part of that. But you can choose whether you're going to do something about it or not. Whether or not you judge people, how often you tune into your senses to pull yourself into this moment, how much or what other people say you believe, how much you believe of what they say, how quickly you try again after you fail or fall, how many times you say, I love you, even to yourself or the earth, whether you focus on what's going right or what seems to be going wrong. Now, I realize going through this list that many of them are assuming privilege and power, ability. But if any of them resonated with you, they show you that you do have control, you do have power. And all of those things happen in each moment, and each moment that we work to be present in or allow ourselves to let the numbness fall away, let the spring come, let the love fill us. I think we empower the world, we empower peace, we empower justice. All of that helps us hear what's ours to do and then act on it. Not from our fears, but from our love, which is more powerful. We are compelled. Let our eyes and hearts look for love. Look for the possibility. Notice where there is power and where power is not. Let us be mindful in that search and in our commitment to make the balance one held in love, in truth, and in justice. Our closing song is There Is More Love Somewhere. I added a verse that we don't usually do. And instead of more something, we just say just this, okay? There is more love somewhere there is more love. Somewhere I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is justice somewhere. There is justice somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is justice somewhere. I want to ask you, as we move around, perhaps drive around town, try to notice the effects of spring more than the effects left by the damage of the snow and the ice. For every time we mindfully carry the power of our love into our actions, we can alter the balance of power. There's a quote that has lived on our marquee out front on Ellerby Road for years now. Perhaps you remember it. It's from Jimi Hendrix. It says, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. It's within our power as individuals and as a congregation whose doctrine is love to move the needle on Hendrix's equation. I would invite Ms. Susan again to help me lead closing reading. I believe you start this time, Ms. Susan.
Okay. It is easier to blindly venerate the saints than to learn the human quality of their sainthood.
It is easier to glorify the heroes of the race than
to give weight to their examples.
To worship the wise is much easier than to profit by their wisdom.
Great leaders are honored not by adulation, but by sharing their insights and values.
Grandchildren of those who stoned the prophet sometimes gather up the stones to build the prophet's monument.
Always it is easier to pay homage to prophets than to heed the direction of their vision.
There is a power out in the universe. It works through human hands, but it was not made by human hands. It is creative, sustaining, and transforming power, and we can trust it with our lives. It will sustain us whenever we take a stand on the side of love, whenever we take a stand for peace and justice, whenever we take a risk. Trust that power. We are together held by that power. May you know fully and deeply the blessings of each of your heart's seasons, the inward turning of winter, springtime's lush renewal, the effortless, steady growth of summer, the autumn's rich harvest. May your passage from season to season be blessed, eased by hands to hold, and by the light of love to guide you on. This is the message of our faith: to act for passion, and in the face of injustice, act for passion. To love with courage in the midst of life's pain. This is the meaning of our chalice flame. As we carry it now, may it empower our hearts until we together meet again. Namaste, Ashe, Amen. Blessed be. Go in peace.